Welcome to the MadLab MMA. We're here talking about last weekend's UFC 292 card and the state of some of the divisions. Just talk some shit, me and Mike over here. So, Mike.
What a disaster, dude.
It was a disaster. Look,
What a disaster.
I've been doing this with Mike for 3 years now. It's very rare. Rare, if any time, does Mike, go lock, pick, go all in on somebody. So I feel his pain, because usually it doesn't go like that.
Well, I didn't say like all in, but I said I was pretty.
It was pretty goddamn close.
I was pretty low.
All in. So, your thoughts, MadLab?
Well, I will tell you this: I've been doing this all together about a decade, and we've discussed this before. I think I've only gone lock pick 3 times. There was another one I added to it 3 times. One of them was the first time Khabib fought McGregor, when everybody thought McGregor would win. I told everybody, lock it up. There's no way he wins. Second one was Mayweather and McGregor.
I was just going to say that.
That was a complete lock.
Yeah.
And then this one wasn't like that, but this was the closest thing. This was like one double A. You know what I mean? And I got to be honest with you, credit to him for winning. He caught him with a beautiful shot.
He did.
It was a beautiful step back counter.
He did.
But at the end of the day, I didn't learn much. We didn't see the fight play out. You know what I mean?
No.
We didn't see the fight play out. And what I mean by that, not that we didn't see the fight play out like it was an early stoppage, because people were saying it was an early stoppage. I thought it was a little early, but I was kind of okay with it.
I was fine with it.
I was okay with it.
I was fine with it.
And I'm very unbiased.
See, much worse than that.
Oh, much worse. Yeah. So
that wasn't that bad.
You should give the champion a little bit more time to recover. He is the champion, but I didn't complain about it. I was like, I saw people online complaining about it. Which, guys, don't do that. Don't be like those other guys where, if you lose, you lose. Just take the loss. You lost. The only thing I will say is like in boxing, you have a feel-out round. You have a feel-out process. When you have 2 fighters that are stark difference like that, you have one who's a very good striker and you have one who's a very good wrestler. You're feeling each other out. You're doing the X's and O's, right? And if you look at the first round, the minute winner, the point winner was Aljo. Every judge had him one up on the cards.
He did.
If you notice what he did in that round, it wasn't very active. He was chipping away at his legs.
OMalley did a pretty decent job too of just kind of staying away.
But that's what he has to do. That's what you have to do. With a guy like Aljo. And Aljo was trying to take away his movement by working on his legs, stinging him, taking away his lateral movement, and he tested a couple shots to see how he felt, how his body felt. The second round, I was expecting him to come out and do a little bit, but we never got that far. So technically, the fight never played out.
I wish you would have saw more.
But that's how fighting is. Not the better fighter doesn't always win. Would I bet him again if they fought again? Yes, I would. I do believe that Aljo wins 7 to 8 times out of 10.
I think so too.
Into that, I do. I really, really do. But he had the path. He won. He's the champion. This is the champion the UFC wanted from the beginning.
Like I told you before, we were just talking in my office. Last week I was watching all kinds of people on YouTube talking about the upcoming fights, and Volkanovski had a good segment. And look, if you watch almost every top level fighter picked Aljo. You know what I mean? And he was like, look, I can't not pick Aljo in this fight. He explained the reasons why. It's but I don't know, man. It just seems like this whole thing is scripted for OMalley. Just the way everything went down, the Munoz with the eye, just everything just kind of fell in place for him. You know what I mean? He's so I would not be shocked at all if this falls in place too. And it did. But he's the champ now.
I don't think it was a smart pick. I still go by that. I don't think historically, if you stab those picks all the time, you're going to come out on the losing end. The reason why the line didn't move, people are why isn't the line moving? Why isn't the line moving? The line didn't move because when you have 50 people putting $10 to $50 on OMalley, and then you have one sharp mind throwing a couple thousand on OMalley, then on Aljo, the line kind of stabilizes itself.
He's a fan favorite, so naturally you're going to have all the kids put $20 OMalley,
$20 on it, and stuff like that. So
tons of my friends who aren't big time, they don't watch a lot.
They OMalley.
OMalley's going to win. It's a sugar show,
So the thing I will say though is the good thing about it is that he's going to have so much popularity going to his next fight that he's going to be a heavy favorite.
He is,
or the line's going to be off. You know what I mean? The only person out of the people that he fights that concerned me a little bit. If he fights Cejudo, I think Cejudo beats him. If he fights Merab, I think Merab beats him. If he fights Chito, That's the one fight that concerns me a little bit.
It's actually a very good matchup.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see that fight
That
again because
concerns
we
me.
didn't get a chance to see it play out either when he fought him the first time.
That fight concerns me a little bit.
For Chito, that's a good fight. That's a good fight. I hope
Great
it goes
fight.
a couple rounds.
Oh, he's not knocking Chito out.
No, but if it goes into the third and Chito starts rolling, although, what was that fight we saw when Chito? You know what the weird part about Chito's last couple of fights is that he's by far getting outstruck, but he keeps doing more damage. It happened again this last fight.
He fought great. People don't give him credit for that fight. If you really watch that fight,
Yeah.
he fought awesome against me.
Same thing against Rob Font. Remember
Yeah.
how much Rob Font landed on him, but his strikes were so much harder.
Yeah.
Yo, he hits hard.
He hits
Chito's
really
got
hard.
a lot of power.
He hits with a lot of bone thud.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean, and that's what
They're probably gonna make that fight.
that's the fight they're going to make because you got Merab who's hurt.
He's hurt for sure. Like he's out for a while.
Well, he's out for a little while. Yeah, so they're not going to put him on the shelf for that long. He wants to fight in December. So Merab is down. You have Chito who's ready to go. And
He's ready to go.
Yeah, then there's someone else is hurt.
Sandhagen.
Sandhagen's hurt, and then you can't just give it to Cejudo like that.
What should happen is Aljo should get the rematch.
That's my whole thing. That's the point I want to bring up. So historically, like you look at some of these guys that win the belt. Like look at, and I hate to bring this up because I know you like him, but look at a guy like Jamal Hill.
Yep.
Wins a vacant belt.
Yep.
Technically, he's not the champion to me at that point.
Yeah, unless you actually win.
Wins
the
a vacant
belt.
belt. Never defended the belt. I believe a champion has to defend his belt to be the champion. And then you get a guy like Aljo, wins the belt, defends it 3 times, whereas he should have an automatic rematch.
Well, why is that not in the contract?
It's Dana White. Like they say, Dana White. Look, they did it with Aldo though. Like we talked about it. Conor knocked Aldo out with that shot. Aldo deserved
Of course.
a shot.
And
All
they didn't
he's
give it to
done,
him.
and they never saw it again. Never saw it again. Like never spoke. The guy
That
never
made
got-
no sense either.
Made no sense. But that's what they're going to do here. That's why I don't even think they're going to fight again.
But not for nothing. If I'm the UFC, I don't want to give him the rematch either.
because
O'Malley's a draw.
and they're afraid Aljo loses.
He's going to be a headliner now. Yeah,
Well,
they're,
the line came out for that fight.
they're
if
afraid
it
O'Malley will
happens.
lose.
The line came out already for that fight.
For Aljo Sterling, too.
2.
What does it say?
It's minus 130 for Aljo.
For Aljo, yeah.
know what I mean?
I figured that.
So, but you're most likely you're not going to see it again. Although he did say he's not going up. He wants the rematch.
I did see that.
He's not going up.
He's going to lobby hard for that. He should get the rematch.
He should lobby hard for it.
He might get it.
Like I would be upset. I'd be more upset if the fight went to like the 3rd or 4th round and he was getting worked, couldn't get a takedown. I'd be like, damn, dude, like he's better than I thought. We didn't see anything.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
agree.
So I'd like to see it again, but I don't think we're going to see it again. Chris Weidman. What do you think about him? Retire? Not retire?
I hated watching that fight. He looked terrible. He looked absolutely terrible.
He's got a torn MCL now too.
He does?
Yeah.
He's
I-
done.
I-
He can't fight no more.
And he already said, "I'm just getting started."
I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
He looked horrible in there, dude.
Yeah.
He looked like he shouldn't have came out of retirement. He
What
looked
do these
terrible.
guys think? Like, don't like when you go in, when they're like, "I felt great." Like, you know, anybody knows. Like, if you go to a basketball court and you play basketball when you're 18 and you're good, and then all of a sudden you get on it and when you're like 40 and you're like, "Yeah, all right, I played all right, but nothing like I was when I like." You got to know that you didn't perform good.
I don't know if it's a weird thing in your brain. It doesn't trigger.
You know,
right.
like
you
really
look terrible.
He's like, "I felt the best I ever felt."
felt
and
the
this-
best. He
yeah.
looked horrible, dude.
So he's apparently coming back. I don't know when. I mean, he's going to be out probably 6 months to a year.
He just was out for 2 years. He's gonna go through that again.
And yeah.
Get on the other side of it. Get on the commentary. Go work on it. He built a big name. Go
He
on
would
the,
be a good commentator.
Yeah, go on the other side now. It's over.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Another controversial one from the week before with the Cub Swanson thing. Blackshear and Bautista. People are calling that a robbery. I mean, what?
That wasn't a robbery.
How was that a robbery? Dude, it's
I had Bautista.
of course I had Bautista.
Man,
winning.
it was close.
It was close.
I had Bautista winning that fight.
Robbery. Actually, JBC was even tweeting me saying, "Don't be," because we wagered and we bet we won that. He's like, "Don't be happy about that win," and that's when it triggered. I was like, "Wow, do people actually think that he lost that fight?" And I went through the timeline, and there were like so many people saying, "Robbery."
I didn't think so.
I didn't think so either.
I didn't think so.
And
I think
anyway,
that
should
was-
perform.
No, I thought that was the right call.
Yeah, me too. Here's the one thing that I do want to bring up that was completely overshadowed. How does Zhang not getting like full blown headlines?
She looked tremendous.
Like she's special.
Just all around, the feet, the ground. I mean, she's just the striking, the kicks. I mean, she's got it all, dude.
She's really got it. She's amazing, dude. Like,
That's why at the beginning of the week, me and you talked. You're like, dude, Lemos is tough. I know she's tough. And like, but this girl Wang is just she's something else, man. She put it makes me look back and be like, wow, I can't believe Rose beat her twice.
Yeah, well, she got caught with that head kick, remember?
She did. Bad.
Got caught with that head kick.
But then she lost the other one too.
Yeah, but here's my thing with this. It's almost to the point where like you can't put her on some like she is a star, dude.
Who are you gonna pick if she fights Suarez?
Well, that's the whole thing I wanted to talk to you about. So there's a lot of things going around. Like, who does she fight next, Yan or Suarez? So I don't think there's any way in hell that the UFC puts her against Yan for the mere fact that you're talking about the Asian market going against each other, which is 4.5 billion in populace. Why would you want them one of them Xing each other out when you can have two stars and let them get X'd out by somebody else?
Or they do Wang Yan in China. It'd be one of the biggest events they ever had out there, dude.
Yeah, but I don't think it calls for it yet.
Not yet.
No, I think like.
Okay, what happens if she fights Suarez and loses though?
Well, that's the whole thing. That's
that.
another thing you're talking about.
Then you lose the luster on.
So then, and you don't want her to sit on the shelf too long. But
Yep.
if it wasn't a shelf sitting situation, I would say put Yan against Suarez. Winner of that takes on
Put
Zhang.
Yan against Suarez.
But then you're talking about putting Zhang on the shelf for a while because you don't want to. What are you going to put? Who are you going to put her against then?
She likes to be active too.
Yeah, so it's like it's not going to happen. But that would be the best case scenario. Go Yan Suarez. Whoever wins that fights the Zhang for the belt. That would be the fair. As far as the matchup, I think
I'd love to see Suarez. And Yang and
I think out of
Whaley.
the two of them, Suarez is. I don't think Yan can beat her. I don't think Yan can beat Zhang. I don't. I think Suarez has a good chance because of her wrestling. But I don't see Yan beating her. I think it's a good fight. I think it's a fun fight, but I don't see her beating her. I don't think she has the antidote to beat her.
And not for nothing, Suarez is 34.
Yeah,
like her time is like
well,
now.
Didn't
she
we
had
discuss
neck
that?
surgery.
Didn't we discuss that? We said that the UFC isn't going to take chances with her.
Yeah,
because she's a star in the making, and she can be injured at any time. So they're going to kind of put her on the fast track.
Yeah, because she had it already for a couple years with the neck.
So
this is her time. Like now,
I don't think it's going to be. I think it should be. And Zhang called her out.
Suarez?
She wants Suarez. She wants her next fight to be. That would be a banger of a fight, bro.
Dude. That'd be a headliner.
They got to headline that fight.
That's one of the best women's fights we've had in a long time.
Got to headline that fight. Yeah.
So I'm gonna be in I didn't tell you. I'm not gonna be here September 8th weekend. I'm gonna be. We're having a leadership team event with the office.
Fucking
like 15
we're going away.
Well, we're going to Temecula. It's 40 minutes. We rented a house. We're doing the whole thing. But I'm going to be there for UFC 293 out of Sonya Strickland. I'll be over there watching it. We're going to all be watching it from there. But you think Strickland got any chance here?
I don't.
Do you think he could get in Izzy's head enough? Because you know he's going to be talking.
There's no way.
It's going to be fun leading up to it, though. It might not be the best matchup, but, dude, the pressers, the interview, the presser's going to be amazing.
There's no way.
That last presser when Strickland got knocked out by Pereira, remember that presser when he's making fun of Izzy with his fingernails and everything? Dude, that was the best, most fun presser I ever watched.
If he grapples, if he uses his grappling, I don't think so. I'm telling you, bro. Listen, let's talk about that real quick.
I don't even think he has an advantage anywhere.
Look how the evolution of MMA has changed. When UFC, I remember UFC 1, and UFC 1 isn't even the birth, but we're just going to go from the UFC standards. When UFC first came out, the Gracies opened this thing to kind of showcase Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yep.
Nobody knew what it was. It was like the dominant form that everybody needed to know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It reigned supreme. Now, that was in 91, I believe it was, right? So now, you're fast forward to now, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the third thing on the pedestal now.
You think it's striking number one?
Striking number one.
Wrestling
number two.
Yeah.
And Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu number three.
Yeah.
If you don't believe that, all you got to do is look at the champions. Look at the current champions. Look at the great champions. Everybody, even if they had wrestling or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they leaned on the striking. The most dominant champions are striking. Max Holloway, Izzy Adesanya. Like, think about it.
Volkanovski.
Volkanovski technically likes to wrestle, but he's a striker.
OMalley now.
OMalley. McGregor. Like, think about all the Poirier, Gaethje, like all these guys. You're a striker.
Yeah, the only one really is Makhachev right now.
Yeah, and the Dagestani
Yeah,
guys.
like right now.
So
there's not a lot of dominant. Out of the champions right now, besides Makhachev, is anybody a wrestling dominant or jiu-jitsu dominant
champion
right
now?
No,
just
even light heavyweight, it's vacant right now. But it was Yuri, it was whatever it passed around. I mean,
so it's like because it's honestly to me is the hardest thing to learn. Like you can get away with striking, but there's a difference. If
Leon Edwards,
like they're all strikers.
Yeah, you're right.
The table completely flipped now. Striking is the dominant art, and the reason
and even guys that do wrestle are striking more too.
Right, and the reason why I put wrestling over Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is because you can have all the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu you want if you can't get them to the ground. Yeah, Pantoja. What good is it? Pantoja, like all these guys, Moreno, they all just reverted to striking.
And even these guys who have really good jiu-jitsu,
they strike.
Look
at guys like, so put it in front, Rodolfo Vieira, one of the most decorated Brazilian jiu-jitsu guys in the world. He gets subbed.
he gets subbed,
Right, he gets subbed by a purple belt.
Yeah, what, Fluffy?
You got Marcelo Garcia, the best Brazilian practitioner in the world, 0-1 in MMA. Like, the table is flipped, dude. Like, so Brazilian jiu-jitsu is good to have, but if you have good striking and good wrestling, you're going to go a lot farther. Period. End.
I wonder if it turns again at some point.
No, because here's the thing. You know, the problem with the belt system today is it's so ridiculously flawed, dude. Like, you don't even know who a real black belt, real purple belt, you don't even know. Dude.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know. Like, you could literally, it's a business now. And how I discussed this.
The way they give the belts out. You're saying.
Because it's like, say you send Dario to my school to train, right? And I start him as a white belt. And he's like, Dad, like, he didn't, I didn't get when am I going to get my expense? Like, he's going to start losing interest, and then you're going to come to me and be like, look, my son's been doing this for X amount of days. Like, I'm paying you $170 a month. So you don't leave and I don't lose your membership, right. I might squeeze him in to get a blue belt.
Yeah.
Squeeze him in to get a purple belt.
You don't know who's truly a purple, truly a black.
No, and I'm telling you from guys that I talk to that teach, that say the same thing. Bro, you can go on corners and literally be a blue belt and, like, you'll get worked by a blue belt in a school like John Danaher, a black belt by a blue belt over there.
By a blue belt, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I just think it's people are privy to it. You can stop Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. There's certain with wrestling and with top control and with takedown defense. Someone who's got a really good wrestling, the striker can stop the takedowns. Sean O'Malley, even though like we didn't say that play out, but strikers, you get good takedown defense. You have, you keep your ass off the ground, and then what are you going to do now? Like, you can't just learn striking.
No.
You know what I mean? That takes years to learn that. You know what I mean? So it's the dominant thing. People now who have a hardcore wrestling background and a hardcore striking background, they're the front runners. It's just the way it is. Speaking of light heavyweight division, that's a dead division, I think. That's the most dead division on the market right now. Our boys fighting this weekend.
Your boy's fighting...
Spann. Ryan Spann.
Your boy might get knocked out by Spann, I think.
He's got to win this fight.
I don't know, man. He looked terrible last time out, man.
Yeah, he's got to win.
I think if he loses this fight,
he's got
to stay in the studio.
He's got to call it quits.
Yeah, he looked so bad last time. I forgot who he fought, but he looked.
Fought Walker.
Oh yeah, he looked so bad against Walker, man.
Johnny Walker.
We were like,
what was he saying to him? What is he was going? You trying to get my family?
Trying to get my family? What the hell? He was, and John said, "What are you talking about, dude?"
Yeah,
so
he looked
weird.
Terrible.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on.
Did you see the Danielson press conference?
with Fury's father flipping everything. Yeah, you showed me on Twitter.
Did you see the whole press conference though?
No. Was it just a clown show?
It was such a clown show. If you watch it, you'll gain so much more respect for Jake Paul.
For Jake Paul?
Yeah.
For the way he conducts himself?
Just look, I know he's not a good boxer and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, the kid puts the work in. He respects the sport.
Yeah.
This guy's coming out, Logan, with cakes, with his Prime bottles, and you could totally see that he is so.
He's a clown.
He's jealous of his brother.
Yeah, he is.
But
why is he? He's in wrestling. He's making $15 million, $5 million a year with WWE. He's actually a really good wrestler.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good athlete, but he's not a fighter. He's an athlete trying to be the fighter. I honestly, there's parts of me that sometimes think this because they seem like that type of guys that would do this. Like if this is one big stage, if this is one big facade, and then eventually they're going to fight each other.
Fight each other?
Yeah. because every day it's getting worse and worse. He just did another podcast, and he's like, I don't even know I should be talking about this right now. He's like, but it's getting to the point now where he makes it. My own brother makes himself look stupid, and like it's getting to the point where like you wonder if this is one big concoction where it's.
You think it's a big show, and they call each other afterwards? Yo, dude, I got to.
I don't know.
They're all.
I mean, I wouldn't.
They're all eating it.
But think about how that much money that would make.
I wouldn't doubt it with these guys. I don't care what anybody says.
You know what I mean? They're
are
saying, listen,
genius, smart business promoters.
You fight, I fight. We're not. We're gonna go in there. We're gonna try to win the fight. We used to fight when we were kids in the garage. We used to fight. You know what I mean?
Go start talking shit. I'll start talking
let's
shit.
Let's have a boxing match and let's just do it. Like there's people out there that would do that. I personally wouldn't do it with my brother, but there's people out there that would actually do that, and it would be the money.
I wouldn't doubt it.
You know the money it would make.
I'd watch it.
I would, of course. I would. Yeah, I would totally watch it. The last thing I want to talk about is speaking because it generates into this is the boxing crossover.
And the boxing, MMA, the whole thing.
Yeah,
going on.
like why is everybody crossing over to like if you really think about it, nobody's crossing over to MMA.
No.
Nobody's crossing over, and all these athletes, they like football players will cross over to MMA, but it seems like all the MMA guys want to cross over to boxing. So the only thing I could think of is this. It's because they're not getting paid enough money in MMA and they're looking for a big payday, which is fine.
Definitely.
Or two, they really think that boxing is easy.
They think
Until
that
they
boxing.
get in there,
they definitely think that boxing is much easier than MMA,
which it's not.
and they're all afraid to get kicked in the face.
Well, what do you mean? They fight MMA already, though.
Oh, you're saying why? Oh, I thought okay. MMA guys going to.
Oh, you're talking about boxing going to MMA?
Yeah, I'm going the
like
other
using
way.
legs now.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not. See, but that's the thing. I'm not saying that a boxer can go into MMA and win.
It's money.
It's money. It's got to be money. But here's the thing. Like OMalley came out and he called out Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, I read that.
Like,
too.
can you imagine? Can you imagine what that would happen to that kid?
I don't blame him. He'd make $50
I'm
million.
saying, but they believe it. I think some of these guys actually believe it. So, like somebody on Twitter
like
came up.
Nagano thinks he's gonna knock out Tyson Fury.
Yeah, but see, that's different though, because there is a world where that can happen because they're heavyweights. There's really no strategic. I mean, there is and there's not with heavyweights.
Tyson Fury's a boxer.
He's strategic.
Yeah.
But he could still get caught. I mean, look at what's it called? Who he fought, Deontay Wilder. He can't box worth the shit.
Yeah.
But he caught him.
He did.
So there is a world that can happen. But this is a perfect example. Somebody asked me about Holloway. They're like, when do you think Holloway's going to go in and finish this? And I was like, I do believe that Holloway can go in and beat all those guys on that circuit. But if you took Holloway at 145 and put him up against, like, say, Inoue at 122, and he stayed at 150, say you give him another 5 pounds, stayed at 150, and Inoue stayed at 122, Inoue would knock him out within 2 rounds.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I if there's anybody I'd like to see go box, it'd be Holloway.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be. But my point is,
was Holloway a boxer when he was younger?
Oh, no. He came in so we watched him grow up.
Yeah.
We watched him grow up. But here's the thing: like Inoue at 122 would knock Max Holloway 20 pounds heavier
for
at
sure.
145 in 2 rounds. But here's the thing: if Holloway fought these guys, he would probably win.
I think so. Well,
he would probably win. I think he beats Jake Paul. I think he beats Logan Paul.
He definitely has the cardio, the boxing cardio. You know what I mean? He could last 10 rounds.
Yeah, and he's
like
got the volume. He'll just
the
keep
volume. He would win. He could win a decision.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, but why are they doing this? And I don't know why boxing doesn't put a block on it. I guess it's because of the money.
Wait, Nate Diaz just made more money in that fight than he made combined, and they said that he made combined his whole career.
Yeah, but eventually don't you have to just stop? Eventually don't you have to just say, like, look, it's never going to happen. You're never going to go into a ring and beat a legitimate boxer. You could beat the Tommy Furies and the fucking this guy and that guy, but you're never going to come in.
But here's the thing: everybody's watching.
Yeah.
So why is it going to stop?
Yeah.
They're watching.
Yeah.
They're making money. They're laughing.
Like Dylan Dennis. Like, come on.
I can't stand that loser.
Yo, but listen, don't even tell me there's not a small part of you that I hope he beats Logan.
Yeah, and I'm watching it.
There's a.
I'm watching.
There's a small part of you that
you
know there's a small part of the as cringe as he is, like to see him beat Logan would be awesome.
I tell you what, I didn't mind watching the Jake Paul Diaz fight for the first time. Usually I hate watching that stuff. I didn't mind watching it.
I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind him. I don't mind
Jake Paul.
I don't mind him. I just want to see him.
When I watched
fight somebody.
When I watched the Untold Stories, Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Then I was like, I got more respect for
I
him.
feel bad for him, in a way. Forget the money. Like, you're like, he's a millionaire. Forget the money. I feel bad for him because I think he's like always, he feels like he's got something to prove to his brother all the time.
He's the one doing it, though.
I know, but he's still, once you get that mentality, like you got that little brother mentality.
Yeah.
You always feel like
He's putting the fucking work in.
Putting work in, dude.
He's putting the work in.
Yeah.
All right, we're doing Singapore card tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's actually a good card. It just starts at 2 a.m. our time.
Yeah.
East Coast, it ain't that bad. 5 a.m. main card, that ain't bad. But I'll be up around 5 anyway. That's what time I get up, so I'll be watching. Yeah. It's actually a good card, man.
It is.
It's a really good card.
It is.
You know, because it's in Singapore and they're not going to put on a shit card for a UFC fight. It's a pretty good card. We'll break it down tomorrow. Throw this up. But we just want to do a little recap. MadLab wanted to wear the Hall of Shame.
Yeah, listen, I said I was going to come on here and do a recap, so I'm not going to.
By the way, it's something you got to watch too. Anybody like sports, watch the Untold Stories, the Hall of Shame.
Oh, where's that?
It's Netflix. It's
really?
It's all about the.
Did you watch the Manziel story?
Not yet. I was gonna watch it, but then I saw that and I just started. It's all about the steroid era in baseball.
Oh, really?
And exactly how it went down with Bonds and the guy and what gear he put him on. They were putting him on regular gear, test everything, but he made some kind of concoction that they called the Clear, right? That was undetectable. He took like other medications that were made for something else and figured out that there were steroids in them, and he made this concoction called the Clear.
Who did?
This guy, Victor Conti.
Remember
Balco?
Yeah, Balco Labs, yeah.
You got to watch it. I just watched it
I
last night.
remember back in the day when that Balco Labs was at, there was another guy that came out with Balco Labs, and it was like a generic juice, and everyone thought it was the real Balco Lab.
Get out of here,
yeah,
really?
I swear to God.
I mean, he didn't make anything special.
No,
it's just that these guys weren't.
Back then, he was the guy who had the balls to give it out.
Yeah,
You know?
but you know, Bonds wasn't even the big thing about it. It was a lot of it was about the runners, about Marion Jones.
Yeah. Marion Jones
and Tim Montgomery.
Yeah,
they were both the 100-meter, you know, and it was a lot about them. And he like made it their mission.
That's right. I forgot about Marion Jones.
Like it was like, yeah, especially with the guy Tim Montgomery was like, dude, it's gonna be called Project World Record. And the project is for you to break the world record in the 100 meters. And you just giving them gear, protocol, calendars. Monday take this, Wednesday take that. During the Olympics, dude, on protocol, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Don't take it this day to avoid the test. Like, it was fucking savage shit.
I gotta see that. I'm gonna watch it tonight. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
You'll like
it.
You'll watch it. I forgot to tell you last night.
All right, so we will see you guys tomorrow for another episode, and
we come back strong this weekend.
Don't be a nerd.
Let's fucking go.
What's going on? Mike from the MadLabMMA.com, bringing you full breakdowns on boxing, MMA, and everything else we can actually talk about. Do me a favor. It's free. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Comment on the videos and like them. It's easy. I mean, it's easy. I mean, I'm not asking you for